I would like to welcome you in today's Malay Claim podcast. Today we have our guest. Would you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Sub-Inspector Peter Nchiza. I'm the Public Relations Officer for Blantyre Police.
You are most welcome in today's program.
Yes, thank you so much.
In today's program, we are going to interact on the issues of decent assault cases. And before we proceed, let me now ask you, what are the decent assault cases?
Indecent assault cases are all the cases which are to do with the inappropriate touching of another person's body without their consent, often with the probable sexual intent. Most of the time you'll find that people normally just touch other people anyhow without even seeking any permission from them. What I mean is that those who are being touched, they don't even consent to what is happening. So if you do that manner, you are committing an offense of indecent assault, which is always contrary to section 137 of the Penal Code. And if you read that section, which I've just cited, it prohibits the touching of any part of a person's body in any indecent manner. And the section, paragraph B of this same section normally criminalizes the attempt to do any act of touching any person's body without his or her consent. So once one has been found doing this, normally what police does is to arrest them. They are suspected to have committed the offense known as the indecent assault, as I've just already mentioned, and thereafter they are taken to court, where upon being found guilty, they are charged under section 138 of the Penal Code to 40 years imprisonment with 14 years imprisonment with hard labor. So I think that's briefly what I can say about the offenses of indecent assault.
Well, thank you very much. What are the most common scenarios in which indecent assault occurs? Can you just give us the example?
Okay, most of the common scenarios is that normally men, especially of the youthhood stage, normally touch women without their consent. Probably they've just met, maybe along the way or in the market or probably in another place. You'll find that most of the people who normally report such matters to police are the women, just because it is rumored that most men are the ones who mostly commit these types of offenses. So that's it.
Yeah, according in your explanation of explained that indeed women are the most vulnerable people who are being involved in such cases. So how do you handle such cases when a woman has been involved in such cases, the minors or the individuals, or even the people with disabilities?
Yeah, of course. All those are some of the people who are much vulnerable to such cases. But mostly what normally police does is to follow the right procedures. Once we have received a complaint, we normally institute investigation so that we should be able to effect an arrest to those who are being suspected to have committed such offenses. And when we arrested them, we take them to a court of law where they answer the charges accordingly. So most of the times the charges or the penalties normally come depending on the understanding of the court now at that particular time. But the police, what we do is only to effect an arrest to those who are suspected that have committed such offenses, and then we take them to a court of law for further proceedings.
Thank you very much. And even the definition as well, you have explained that indeed such cases, it normally involves the issue of touching. So as police, how do you gather the evidence from such a scenario?
The evidences are mostly gathered through interacting with the people involved. When I say people involved, I mean those complainants, and we also even interview the suspects. And again, if at all possible, there were some witnesses, we bring them forward, and we get information from all those people, and later we are able to come up with at least real information as to what has transpired or what has really happened.
Okay. So what are the most common challenges in investigating such offences?
If you say the challenges, I think they're just many. You find that most of the times, once one has committed such an offence and he probably has managed to get to know that the victim has reported to police, they normally run away. So it becomes a challenge for us. As police, we normally have some mobility challenges. We don't have enough vehicles. So for us to carry out investigations, it takes some time. Sometimes you find that a day may go, even sometimes a week, or sometimes even a month can go for us to be able to arrest. Only that we are very thankful to members of the general public that once we institute investigations, we end up effecting arrest to the true suspects. So even if it takes some time, but most of the times we end up arresting them. So that's only what we can say that is our positive development, or I should say, we normally thank members of the general public just because they give us information as to where are the suspects. But the challenge, one of the most well-known challenge is lack of mobility.
Thank you very much. So, as police, how do you ensure that the safety of the victim who are involved in such cases are being protected?
Yeah, we take them to our office. We have offices in our policing stations. We have the offices which are specialized in at least providing guidance and counseling to such victims. They give them guidance and they counsel them, and where they find it possible, they even send them to the hospital for further examinations and treatment. Just because sometimes people can just say, I've been touched, yet they've been maybe raped, so they are sent to the hospital for medical examinations, and there also at the hospital there are some counselors there, so they are also referred to such counselors for their attention. So that's the way we normally deal with them.
Okay. What are the preventive measures can individuals take to reduce their risk, of being the victims of indecent assault?
Probably what I can say at the moment is that they should at least try to at least create a social distance to distance themselves from the suspected people. Of course, it's always difficult for one to identify a suspect before he has yet committed the offense. But sometimes they can just know that, as I already put it, that most of the victims are women and the suspects are mostly men. So once they meet men who to their understanding or to their knowledge, they think that they might be these other people who are mostly drunk, or they are showing a particular behavior and code for behavior. They should at least try to distance themselves. They should not just be closer to them, at least in that way. And most of the times, if they can be moving maybe in groups of at least 2, 3 or more, at least that will be much better, just because it will be difficult maybe for somebody to harass them, just because they will fear that since there are many, probably they can gang up against him. So in that regard, or that way, I think they will be able to protect themselves. But also what I should request from members of the general public is that once they have been involved in such malpractice, at least they should, as much as possible, try to report to police, so that the police should take action as soon as possible.
In as far as all these sexual offences it concerns, indecent assault as well as defilement, how can one have the clear picture or else to differentiate the two meaning of these two between defilement as well as indecent assault?
In fact, at the moment we no longer have the defilement. We of course previously we were calling it defilement, but at the moment we say having sexual intercourse with a minor. Now, when we say having sexual intercourse and the indecent assault, as I already said, indecent assault only involves the act of touching of somebody's body without his permission or without his consent. Yet when we talk of having carnal knowledge or having sexual intercourse with a minor, we are talking about doing the real sexual activity with that particular person. It involves a lot of things, including penetration and the like. So, in that regard, I think one can be able to differentiate them.
Okay, so what are the nature of indecent assault crime?
Can you come again? Probably I'm not able to understand what exactly you want to get it.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is that how can individuals identify that indeed this is a indecent assault crime, the nature of it?
Yes, somebody can be able to identify that this, what has happened here is indecent assault by listening to what the victim was saying. Because most of the times you never find any sign, you'll never find anything probably as an evidence to show that somebody has been indecently assaulted. But what the victim will be telling you and what the witnesses will be telling you and probably also what the suspects will be telling you, then you'll be able to know that what has happened here is an indecent assault.
But who are the most perpetrators of such offenses between the women and girls? Who are the most victims? I mean, the victim. Who are the most victims of such offenses?
The most victims are the girls. I think the teenagers are mostly the victims, followed by these other people, like people with a disability. Also, some of the victims, just because they are not able probably to do what other people can do in the process of preventing such malpractices. But mostly the young ones, mostly the teenagers.
So how do you make sure that these people, for example, the people with disabilities, are protected when one is being involved in such cases? You have also mentioned about the issue of people with disabilities.
Yeah, of course, we just we normally talk to those individuals who look after them, so that they should be, most of the times they should be close always to them, because if they let them be on their own for some time, then other people will take advantage. But most of the times, if you are given that responsibility to look after people with a disability, make sure that you are always close to them most of the times. Don't leave them alone, so that whatever happens, you should be able to see what you can do in order to protect them.
Thank you very much. So how do you differentiate the indecent assault and the other forms of assault?
Yeah, there are a number of assault cases. For example, we have a common assault where somebody has been the problem solved. It's an assault or so. But indecent assault, it doesn't involve much of the force as in some other assaults. But what normally happens here is just a physical touching of somebody's body without his or her consent. So that's how best we can be able to differentiate.
Is it possible that indecent assault case can, after the investigation, can it be turned into an issue to do with having sex with a minor? And how and in which scenarios?
Yeah, it might happen if for example, when one is reporting, is saying that I've been indecently assaulted, then after some time you establish that what happened was not just a mere touching, but there was also some sort of probably rape or whatsoever. Then she is referred to a hospital, and once the medical personnel have confirmed through the document called medical report, if they have confirmed that yes, there was some sort of rape, that have been have been raped or whatsoever, then we can change the case from indecent assault to rape if the one raped is probably over 18 years old, and we can say having sexual intercourse with a minor if he's less than 18 years old. So that possibility is there only when we get much needed information in order for us to know how best to treat it, and thereafter we get the much required results. Then it's when we can conclude that what has happened here is no longer an indecent assault as it was being claimed before, but it's now a case of rape, or it's now a case of having sexual intercourse with a minor.
So what's the difference between the rape case and as well as the indecent assault cases?
the difference is that in rape, somebody is being raped. Somebody is raped with her without her consent. That's what normally happens in rape. And when I say like this, I don't mean it's only men probably who can rape. Even women also does commit such offenses of rape, because the rape is mostly an act of sleeping with somebody without his or her consent. So if a woman sleeps with a man without the consent from that man, or if a man sleeps with a woman without the consent from that woman, then what has happened there is an act of rape. So the case of rape will be established. While the indecent assault, as I've already said, it's just a matter of touching somebody's body without his or her consent.
Thank you very much. What are the legal penalties for indecent assault, rape, as well as having sex with a minor? So that maybe the public, the viewers should be able to differentiate, to have the clear picture of all these cases. Yeah, as I've already said, that the indecent assault is being provided for under the laws of Malawi, section 1, that's section 137 of the Penal Code. Yeah, Penal Code is one of the laws of Malawi which normally deals with criminal matters. So, for one to be able to identify or to read the law in order to find out what indecent assault is, you must consult the Penal Code under section 137. And under section 138 is where they will be able to find the punishment which is given to them. And for rape and the having sexual intercourse with a minor, they are also being provided for under the same penal code. At the moment, I'm not able to give the real section of the cases. However, they're just close to each other. I think let me just say that when one is consulting the penal code, they will be able to get that much needed information. Thank you very much. And I also, earlier on, you have also explained that the girls and the women are the most vulnerable of these indecent assault cases. Why is it the most girls the vulnerable of such offenses? Of course, it will be a bit difficult for me to guess as to why they are most the victims. But what I can say is that probably they are regarded as less powerful, or they are less powerful than men. Probably that's why men normally take advantage of them, because for somebody who is more powerful, nobody can think of harassing him or her in any way. But just because we view women, we view ladies as probably less privileged in terms of physical power, I just think that that might be one of the reasons. Okay. Can indecent assault offenses occur, let's say, in the office, in the public office? Wherever it can happen. In the offices it happens. In the market it happens. Almost everywhere it normally happens. So what if in the scenario that the indecent assault has been happening, maybe in the office, and maybe the senior man, the top officials are the one who are doing such malpractices, and maybe the victims are afraid to report to police. If they are afraid that if women can report such cases, maybe you can be arrested, as well as maybe you can lose our job. Is there any advice that you can advise to such people? In the first place, let me say that there is no any other provision in Malawi that gives power to any senior man on any office to harass people, and thereafter probably telling the same people that if you report it to anyone, you'll be sacked from this office. No, there is no any such law that gives power to such people. The procedure is just the same. Once somebody has been harassed, he needed to report it to police. And once the report has been given, the same process will be taken. The suspect will be called or will be arrested, and then they will be questioned. The statements will be obtained from them, and then it will be processed, and then they will be taken to court. And if probably after the questioning of the suspect, then
the victims finds out that their employment is at risk, they have risked their employment, probably somebody is threatening to sack them. There are also some laws which govern such conduct, so they can report it to appropriate authorities. We have a number of authorities which are set in Malawi in order to look after a number of things. For example, somebody can just report it directly, can just go to court and claim for damages for whatever the boss has been doing, or somebody can go to labor offices. They can even just report to police. They can go to non-government. We have some non-government organizations which are working hand in hand with the with Malawi government in promoting the rights of people everywhere, whether at work, or wherever. They can just report to them, and thereafter they will be assisted. People should not be in fear. Once they have been harassed, they should just report it to police or report it to any appropriate authority. Nobody will sack them from their employment just because they have reported the malpractice to the authorities. No one will do that just because the laws are there to protect them. And there are a number of agencies, a number of offices which are there to protect them.
So how rampant are such cases in Blantyre?
Yeah, as rampant as before. Police has been doing everything possible to ensure that the people are no longer living in fear in the city of Blantyre. We have to employ a number of initiatives which are to ensure that the many people well protected. And at the moment, if you can just go around the Blantyre city, wherever in Blantyre city, and you try to do whatever you think you can do, people will not be able to see you. We have CCTV cameras almost everywhere in the city. You will be seen, and without much time, you will be arrested. You get arrested. You'll just be surprised to see police officers apprehending you, and then when you come to police, we will show you the footage of what you have done, and then it's always easy for us to apprehend such people. So people are no longer in fear, and the cases are no longer rampant just because the people know that if they do such manners, they will get arrested. And also members of the general public, especially those who are working with us as the police forums in all the areas, are working hard to ensure that many people are made aware of their responsibilities, of their rights, and also of what they are not supposed to do and what they're supposed to do. So in that regard, many people have decided to choose that they should be responsible citizens of the country. So let me also just take this opportunity probably to say thank you so much to all the members of the general public who are trying to work hard ensuring that the security is well provided, security is given to everyone, and also information about security is also being provided almost to every individual in the city of Blantyre. So at the moment, I can just assure you that no longer rampant of such cases.
Apart from having the CCTV cameras to track down those criminals who are involved in such malpractices, is there anything that you are doing on the ground to ensure that indeed people, the victim of indecent assault, are well being protected?
Yes, what I was saying is that I was able to mention the CCTV cameras that, just because it's something which is a bit new to members of the general public, but mostly we have not abandoned all our old ways of doing things, like having the police officers patrolling the city and having the designated places where some police officers are put in strategic places in order to ensure that the police is almost taken to the people. Almost everywhere in the city there are police officers. We are still doing that. We have vehicle patrols. Most of the times you find police officers on vehicles doing patrols around the city. You find some other police officers on motorbikes doing the same patrols. You'll find the police officers just on foot. You'll find the police officers just grouped here, there, and there. All those things are there. So, and also we have the we have our means of connection with the people using the phone numbers. We give telephone numbers to members of the general public so that once they have noticed something strange, they should be reporting to police as soon as possible. They should not just be calling the responsible office. So we shared the phone numbers to all the areas. So we are able to work almost day and night in ensuring that there is security and fantasy.
Wow, thank you very much for your time, dear listener. In today's program, we had Sub-Inspector Peter Nchiza, who is the Public Relations Officer for Blantyre Police Station. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I request you to stand for IM's right salute. As I said, when I'm being senior on, the parade commander is the Superintendent Afiashiwa, who is also the officer in charge of training wing. Division number 1 is under the able leadership of Assistant Superintendent Amina Ejawado. Division number 2 has been trusted. Is also the office in charge for ground work here at his Division number 4 is under the leadership of Inspector Jason.